Hello there. My name is Amy, and welcome to the latest episode of the Intuitive Framework. And today, for this episode, was thinking and reflecting on some things that have been happening for me, especially where I am going towards in my image consultancy business, my career, and building content on social media, on YouTube, Substack, and Threads. And slowly we'll get into Instagram and TikTok. However, at the moment, it was very interesting, like reflecting on the feedback that I'm getting online and also building up my consultancy business. I've been doing a lot of content creation based around fashion, try to build an interesting point of views. I was actually encouraged by my mentor slash astrologers to tell me to go ahead and do it and not let fear be in the way. And then doing this for about 3 months, the feedback was enormous, much more than anticipated when I'm making content or doing my reports, helping clients. I just don't want to do something that is cookie cutter. Try to put my best into everything that I do, especially that felt very genuine to me. Because you're definitely in an age that more is more, and you have to churn out as much as you can to retain the engagement and followers. And this got me thinking that since going to university, going to school, and being with my peers and the types of people that I'm around with, it's really true, as I say, with Robert Greene, who's the author of 48 Laws of Power, Mastery, and Human Nature, and Laws of Seduction. I think that's what it's called. Your environment definitely affects you much more than what anyone can anticipate. And even if you have the strongest, most stubborn willness within you, you're going to be affected some way or the another. And I can say this as someone who myself, I've always been very strong-willed and very stubborn. I was definitely influenced in more ways than none, subconsciously. And also knowing that the people that I have around me, especially the types of friends I was with, it was very clear that I was putting myself down and lowering my standards just to make others around me feel more comfortable. And you can't really say much about it, especially if you're very young, meaning like 8, 9, all the way to like teenage years and also going into my 20s and so forth. And the things that I really want to mention about in this episode is about the things that you have to really take notes, whether or not the people around you or the environment is affecting you, especially those who are close to you. I didn't really understand until I was much older, which is keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. And this is one of the reasons why I really want to wear pink today, because if I haven't gone through what I have gone through personally, I wouldn't have embraced the colors like pink, being into fashion, being into beauty. Ironically, a lot of my friends weren't really into it. Not that they were wrong, but it just wasn't their interest. However, I naturally gravitate towards fashion, beauty, and stuff like that. And I subconsciously in tune with myself, believing that fashion and beauty all for the sake of vanity. And I'm not some quote unquote dumb blonde. I'm not blonde, but you get the meaning. It took growing up, rewatching things, learning lessons to realize there's nothing wrong wanting to look pretty, beautiful, and look well presented and take things with a grain of salt. Because at least like the types of people around with, like I don't really blame them for it, because that was what I was at that time as well, was that being known to be into boba tea, eating like really good restaurants and everything like that. At this stage of my life, it's not really a strong priority, because my health and the way I go about life is more important to what the stereotypes of being Asian is. And to be honest, since I was young and being Taiwanese myself, which is like the land of boba tea, it wasn't something that I was into, because I just don't like the way of eating boba and drinking, and I just never really could digest it. Not saying that no one should get it, but it just wasn't for me personally. Since I was like 6 or 5, but I just never really have interested in it. I tried it, but still it's not for me. But what I'm trying to say is that the people around you really reflect, especially your friends, reflect who you are at your current frequency. If you are operating on a different frequency, it's either you outgrow them or you are lowering down yourself to meet what other people are at. And this is what I've noticed with my career trajectory and the people around me. Lots of friendships and the people I used to talk with quite often fell to the wayside because we're just at different stages of life. We diverge into our own individual path, and that's just the way of life. People may walk with you for the most of the way, but they may not walk with you the whole way. And this is something that I've noticed because I had a friend when I was really young, being in middle school, so known her from like grade 3 all the way to 7th grade. And I had to go through therapy based on this analogy because one time, like, I haven't talked to her for more than 15 years at this point. I was just having a random dream. I haven't contacted this person, but they're just coming into my dreams nonstop for 3 nights straight in a row. And I was like thinking, this must be a clue to what do I really need to learn from this? Because I believe when things are like being pushed into subconscious, you should take note of it. And then during some astrological synastry around it and recognizing what type of friendship we have, I realized at least she was subconsciously using me to try to defend her without me realizing it, because I have a very weird savior complex, meaning I was willing to save other people because I had no one to save me. And it was very funny because it was the definition of the subconscious princess treatment, because she's a Libra sun and a Virgo moon, whereas myself, I'm a Virgo sun, but an Aries moon. I was like willing to be like the knight in shining armor. So she put me into this masculine state of mind, especially when you were young and you're going out and you want to share like a friendship bracelet, for example, and there's only 2 colors, pink and blue. I would automatically let the other person to take the pink, whereas I will take the blue. Not that I never liked blue, because blue for me felt like very safe, very calm, very warming. But pink was too soft, too feminine, which I couldn't accept that part of me at that time. But that's why I'm wearing pink at the moment, to commend this part of myself. And with that, with being embracing the pink and realizing what I've always liked to have, it's really like recognizing parts of myself that have always been authentically me, meaning being into like what's fashion doing, beauty and so forth, but something that's within my own lane. And that's what I really wanted to do. That's why it led me to image consulting and helping people to embrace their authentic part of themselves and not be so suffocated by societal standards of what trends are doing, what you're expected. Because one moment people should be like curvy, like getting the BBLs in the 2010s. But now in the 2020s, everyone is going back to the what I call late 90s Kate Moss thinness. Everything changes over time. So for this episode, I'm going to point out you are unconsciously influenced without even realizing it. I can definitely say for sure when I was in school during college that all of us, some friend groups are just into clubbing. Some groups may be into recreational substances. For me, it was food, especially there in New York, which there is a wide variety of cuisines, foods, latest things to always try, which me and my friends are always like willing to. In the end, what happened, I freaking ballooned. I'm just going to say it straight. And realizing that whatever like ate, especially someone who already has like a very sensitive digestion, so it's most likely the ingredients, because I grew up in South Africa, which we often eat home cooked meals every single day. So in the end, influence to eat, influence not to really take care of yourself, because being an art student, you prioritize at least social and the community and getting your work done over like how you look, because you only have so much energy within a day. And now at a different stage of my life, I lost contact with those people because, not because I don't want to talk to them, but I felt like there was nothing really much to talk about because we don't meet regularly. We had different stages in our life. People move to different parts of the country or different parts of the world, and we have to recognize what our beliefs are without the influence of the community. I want to point out, especially like in this friend group that I was in, is that I was unknowingly too comfortable where I was at, meaning people are just going to accept me for where I am at the moment, and it's not a big threat to either one of us. Because looking back, especially the types of people I was going to school with, I could easily be with people who are much more sporty, who are much more like driven, who are very into looking good. But I didn't feel confident and comfortable enough to reach those levels because I lacked belief in myself. I had the ability to do all of that, except I'm not as extroverted, I'm not as outspoken. I wanted to be more with the quiet people. And with the quiet people, I lowered my standard. I realized that looking back, I was mostly with losers, people who don't really bring themselves up, victim mentality, bringing drama, bringing things that makes blaming others easier than to take responsibility for yourself, which there were times that I would want to blame things around me, but at least the guardians or the adults around me definitely said you have to bring yourself up if you really want to change your life. Meaning, if you really want to look your best, you have to eat well, drink water, sleep well, take responsibility, and so forth. If you want to do well in your career, you build up your skill set, you try to build relationship with your colleagues, or if you're starting a business, you have to really put yourself out there on social media, making content to market yourself, and also building up your portfolio so you could attract clientele who trust your expertise. But what I'm trying to say is that the people who enter your life reflects where you are at the moment, which at the moment, I'm more than happy where I am now. And the universe or God or whoever you pray to, they will bring people knowing that you're ready. So it's been great and really feel good where I am. And I noticed that, at least for myself, related to image consulting, the more I embrace myself, the more I am embracing color more into my life. So pink, yellows, greens, and stuff like that. I was still wear black, especially I have a lot of dogs around me. So you cannot always wear too pretty at the time, but definitely in my life, in the near future, I just want to always dress to look good and feel comfortable of expressing myself more and more. And I do feel it will happen sooner than later. But who knows, this is all I have for today. And just a reminder that the universe always reflects you back in subtle ways, more than you realize. Especially the people around you reflect where you are at the moment. Keep an eye out for it. And thank you so much for listening into Intuitive Framework. If you like this episode, do leave a review and leave a comment. If you are interested to more access to my content, you're free to subscribe to Substack, which all the content is free. If you're really keen to see more of my other types of content, if you are interested in my services, basically all the links for my services and stuff will be in the description. And yeah, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day and week, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.